Hello, my name is Judith Constantine from Muhas, Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I facilitate pharmacognosy-related subjects. And remember, we have done part 1 and part 2 of plant ergastic substances, and this is part 3 and final of plant ergastic substances. We have gone through all ergastic substances, from reserve materials to excretory materials, and the excretory part we are left with mineral crystals, which include calcium carbonate and calcium oxalate crystals. So please stay with me as we move through these ergastic substances. Crystals are a major type of ergastic substance that serve as storage, defense, or structural aids, formed as metabolic byproducts like oxalic acid reacting with minerals. Generally, crystals are the depositions of waste products within a cell. Crystals are mainly of two types. Calcium oxalate crystals, these are the most common, and we have calcium carbonate crystals, which are less common. These calcium oxalate crystals are widely available in a lot of plant families when compared to these calcium carbonate crystals, which are very specific to about 5 plant families, mostly 3 families. So these crystals, the calcium oxalate crystals, have various morphologies. They have sharp needle-like bundles known as raphides. They have druses, which are spherical clusters of crystals like star-shaped aggregates we are going to see in the line drawings. We have prisms, which are cubical or elongated crystals. We have crystal suns. These are tiny scattered crystals like those in spinach. We are going to see examples as we move along. Calcium oxalate crystals are key features of many toxic plants. Not all plants with calcium oxalate crystals are toxic, but many toxic plants they have these calcium oxalate crystals, and they are really toxic. They can be either systemic, or sometimes the toxic effects can be minor depending on the amount that has been ingested or the contact, because it starts with minor to systemic problems. They are found across hundreds of plant families, like I said earlier. And for example, plants like Dieffenbachia, this is damp cane, a well-known plant around our houses. We keep them as flowers. We have Colocasia species with philodendron species. They have these raphides, which are needle-like crystals. They can really irritate someone, be it an animal, be it a human being or something. They can cause some problems after ingestion. So some plants, for example, pineapple, they store calcium oxalate crystals in non-edible parts, like stems, those parts that we cannot consume. But the edible parts do not have calcium oxalate crystals. So be careful with your kids playing around with non-edible parts of pineapple. These are some species, example species that have calcium oxalate crystals in them. We have Dieffenbachia. This is a damp cane. They have raphides, which are highly irritating and poisonous, and they should not be consumed. We have Colocasia species. One example is Colocasia esculenta. This is also known as wild taro. It is toxic. It causes severe oral irritation. Cooking may reduce the acrid taste in edible taro by destroying associated enzymes, but does not remove the crystals. So we are going to see what the crystals do later upon accumulation in your body. We have Rhium raponticum, which is rhubarb. This is medicinally important, especially the roots. It has a crystal sand and prisms. High concentration are found in the leaves, which are poisonous, but the stalks are edible. They do not have much concentration of these. We have Spinacia oleracea. This is spinach, the one we are used to consume in our daily veggies. They are high in oxalates, but they just have these, they have prisms and block-shaped that are less irritating when compared to raphides. Raphides are highly irritating, as you can see in examples like in Dieffenbachia, Colocasia, very toxic because they irritate a lot. This is an example of dump cane. We have these flowers all around. If you never know this Dieffenbachia species, they have a lot of calcium oxide crystals, the raphides, that are irritating. These are Colocasia species, for example, Colocasia esculenta. There they are. We also have them as flowers everywhere, so be careful with this. This is a rhubarb. The leaves have high concentration of calcium oxide crystals, but luckily the stalks and the roots medicinal important. This is spinach. We all know this, I guess. So it happens that there is localized toxicity associated with the consumption of calcium oxide crystals, and localized toxicity is normally due to the raphides, which are they are needle-like, so they physically stab tissues. When you consume it, it will stab you. You feel like being irritated. You have oral pain, burning feeling, swelling of lips, tongues, throat, sometimes numbness, difficult swallowing, drooling, vomiting, and temporary hoarseness. But these are mild and temporary due to immediate pain, because immediate pain after being stabbed by raphides will prevent you from ingesting much of this. So things may be temporary and mild, then it goes away with home care. But severe swelling can obstruct airways, requiring immediate medical help like intubation. Treatment normally done at home. You rinse your mouth. You offer cold foods like yogurt tea. You give ice cubes. Wash your skin with soap and water. Seek emergency medical help for breathing if things are hard. These are the images after consuming damp cane. Maybe this was a kid. You see how swollen the lips are. Look at this tongue after consuming plants containing calcium oxide crystals. These are the effects of the consuming calcium oxide crystals. Systemic effects include kidney stones. Not all kidney stones are because of calcium oxide crystals, but calcium oxide crystals is a major component of kidney stones. They cause damage and cell death in renal cells, especially with the nanomicron-sized crystals. It may cause kidney failure in high levels, particularly in animals, or severe human poisoning. It may also be deposited in other tissues like brain, heart, arteries that may cause damage. Though systemic absorption from plants is rare, because most of these are raphides, which will irritate you and prevent you from consuming much of the crystals. The mechanism may involve oxidative stress by increasing the amount of free radicals in your body. So we have to be careful with our daily lifestyles, especially in food consumption. That's an example of kidney stones with calcium oxide crystals. Just an image showing how they deposit and how they may cause pain and how systemic the effects could be. Take-home message: while most plant-related cases are acute, painful, and localized, mostly because you cannot ingest much, but severe ingestion or underlying kidney issues can lead to serious systemic problems like kidney damage or airway obstruction, necessitating prompt medical attention. So it should not be taken for granted. These are the crystals themselves. This was actually borrowed from Twist and Evans, the 16th edition of the book. So please make sure you have that book if you want to learn much on pharmacognosy-related matters. This is number 1 here, prismatic crystal. Remember what we said? This is a druze. We said it's like more of a star-shaped thing. You can always pause and go back to check more to see for more understanding. This is also a prism. And all these are various shaped prismatic crystals. And we have a graphite, not a graphite, sorry. It's a graphite. And we have this a needle. This needle, like these are the ones which stab the tissues when consumed. Calcium carbonate crystals, these are called cystoliths. They are called cystoliths. They are found in specialized cell. They are specialized cell outgrowths, mostly in the epidermal cells. We are going to see the epidermal cells when we shall see our lecture on plant tissues of diagnostic importance. Please don't miss it. We will see how these calcium carbonates are being deposited in those epidermal cells. And the epidermal cells that contain cystoliths are called lithocysts. They are called lithocysts. So unlike calcium oxalate crystals, which are available in hundreds of plant species, the calcium carbonate crystals are unique to plant families like Urticaceae, Moraceae, Cannabiaceae, Acanthaceae, and some in Combretaceae and Boragnaceae, but mostly in the first 3. They occur in the orders of how they are arranged. So normally the cystoliths are enlarged, and the epidermal cell that contains a cystolith looks bigger than the other. So it is, instead of calling an epidermal cell, we name it a lithocyst. Something to note, calcium carbonate crystals do not necessarily correlate with toxicity, unlike what we have seen in calcium oxalate crystals. This is an example. We have epidermal cells here. So all epidermal cells should be in this shape. But look here what happened after accumulation of calcium oxalate crystals. Our epidermal cell grows bigger. And so it is called a lithocyst. This cystolith is a calcium carbonate crystal. So we call it a cystolith. So you have to be conversant with these terminologies, the cystolith and the lithocyst. This is for self-study. Other excretory materials, essential oils. I will have a lecture on essential oils. I will have a lecture on resins. I will have a lecture on balsam. So please don't miss these exciting lectures. These were our learning outcomes. If you remember, have we covered the learning outcomes? Have we covered the objectives? Please drop your comment down there. And we have a self-assessment quiz. Please drop your comments there. Discuss. Give us the answers of these questions. What is not true about the eccentric hilum? Remember we did in starch grains about eccentric and centric hilum? Please drop your comment. And write it true or false with reasons. Iluron grains and ground mass protein are two interchangeable terms, both referring to protein bodies in plants. Are they interchangeable or not? Please tell us if it's true or false and give us reasons. The presence of all crystals in plant indicates toxicity if the presence of respective plant. Is that so? Please drop your comment. Thank you for being with me in plant ergastic substances, and please like, share, comment, subscribe, and welcome in our next lecture. Bye-bye.